Hi, I'm taking Paul McWhorter's AI for Everyone class, and we're on lesson 18, and it's about media pipe hand detection. And it was a really good lesson. Learned a lot about media pipe and also about Python classes, because our homework was to do the landmark array as a class, create a class out of the landmark array process. So anyhow, I got the homework done and figured I'd show you what I did. But first of all, today's lesson is going to be the Python is on this little mini computer that I bought off Amazon for $170. It's a Windows 10 machine. Processor's a little slow in it, but to get it to work, I'm working headless with it. So we got like a little dummy HDMI adapter that fakes the computer into thinking there's a monitor connected. That lets us use remote desktop with it. So kind of cool. I eventually want to make a mobile platform for what we're learning in this and the 3D Python lesson. So hopefully this will be the start of it. I know that the Jetson Nano is the better platform for doing that, but I chose ease of use over speed. So and this is actually a little cheaper, I believe, than the buying everything that you need for the Jetson Nano. Plus I really wasn't looking forward to all those lessons over there that Paul has on his class, Jetson Nano class. Since I'm already got this under control, I figured we'd try using this. Anyhow, on to our lessons. I'll show you actually how this works on there. Let me get rid of my face on here first. All right. So any remote desktop will work. I happen to be using the Google Chrome extension remote desktop. It works great for me, but you can use whatever you need on that. Basically what it does is it just brings up the remote desktop in a new window on your browser. So you can just switch between whatever browsers you want. This is on a laptop that I'm recording this, but this is the display of that little mini computer. The cool thing is you can bring this tab out and make it full screen, and it looks like you're working just right with that computer over there. So show you that, you know, it's just a regular computer. You got all your Chrome and whatever else you need, so you can pretty much bring up whatever you want. So you're actually whatever normal Windows computer can do, you can do it over there, just like it's, whether it's across the room or across town or across the world. I think it'll work the same. A little bit more delay on the time. There's actually very little delay with it being on my home network here. So anyhow, so let's get back to our homework. So I recreated Paul's first thing, the show your friends thing. So we'll run that. I copy and paste, just as not copy and paste, but recreate it, and just going to do that. And basically all we're doing is showing a hand. So like I said, just a proof of concept. So that was kind of cool. All right. So after that, we talked about having to grab this array that we need, our hands array, to get the data in a way that we could do our own thing with it rather than just show the wireframe up. So this is pretty much all the same as Paul has up there. And we commented out the wireframe, so we're not seeing that. So basically all we're doing is putting a couple dots on our finger. So we'll run that. So basically it's our index finger. Oh, let me back out. It likes to see a whole hand for sure. All right, so it does okay. So that works fine. So that's as far as Paul took us on the videos. And then our homework was to turn that process into a class for our, so we didn't have to, so we could use a class and use our methods, class methods on it rather than have to use it, fill our code up with it every time we wanted to use it. So basically, you got a couple things on your, you have to have an init method. So basically, I figured these two probably could go in the init method. And then for a method to call for each frame to get the array data, it would be everything between our, after we get our frame off the camera, we don't want to do that in our class, all the way down to just before we show it, because we're not showing it in our classes either. So anyhow, so basically that's what we did there. And I can show you how we turned it, how I turned it into a class. So basically, like I said, just you got your hands in your draw and you're just putting a self dot in front of it. So that worked out well. And then I only got a single method, and it's get landmarks, LM, get landmarks. I'm passing it a frame, I'm calling it image. And then I also added a Boolean value there for whether to draw the wireframe or not. So I'll show you how, where that comes in a little bit farther down. But basically the rest of it is just getting the my hands variable and then returning it. The one thing that we did need to do is we were using our length and width to calculate our pixel, XY pixel coordinates for them. And we didn't have, in the class, you don't have that data. So we're getting it from our frame dot shape. We're getting our height and width from that. So I just had to add that in a little bit. So basically that's what we did. And so I'll show you how we do it as a class rather than the other things. So right now I got the class collapsed. Our code lets you collapse the class, but I'll open it up and just what you saw on the other screen is here. And then we'll close that back up. So basically all we have to do is we call an instant, create an instance of the class, and I called it my landmarks, LM. And basically that's all you had to do. And then you do your normal stuff. And then after you get your frame, you just read your array into the get LM method. So it's my LM.getLM. You're passing the frame that you just got it from the camera, and we're going to leave the the wireframe on there. We'll skip this a little bit here for a while, for a second. And this is what we were doing basically with on Paul's. We were just getting a fingertip and displaying a fingertip for each hand. Just a proof of concept down there and showing it. So that's all basically the same. I did add this one little bit of code here, pulling out the thumb tip and the index fingertip and getting that data and using Pythagorean theorem calculation, a squared b squared equals c squared calculation to get the distance between them. So like I said, I added NP or NumPy up here, so we could use NumPy. So you create an NP array so you can work with the data as arrays. And then this is one line of code gives you the excuse me, distance between the two finger points. So one line of code does the trick. And then we're just, I just print the distance on the screen, but you could use that to control something in the real world if you wanted to. So basically that's all we're doing on that. And we can, so this is with basically with a class in our program. So we'll run that. And, basically got our class, and you can see closer your fingers get together, farther apart it is. Funny thing is, when you bring your second hand up, it moves those two over to that one. So it's whichever hand enters the screen last seems to be the one that gets the focus of the 0 element of the array. So bring this one down and bring it back up and it gets it back. Bring this one down, bring it back up. Well, sometimes it does. There you go. I got it that time. So this one is no longer affected, but it's this one, whichever one has the green dots. So anyhow, that's pretty much how that worked out, and got it in a class okay. And like I said, the class is okay, and you can collapse it when you want to. But I'm starting to think, well, these other libraries, they don't have to have that your code in your local file at all. So how do they work? So I did some reading, and we actually put this. I created this standalone file with just the class in it. And I did have to be in, since we're using MediaPipe and OpenCV, I had to include those libraries in this file as well. But then I just saved it as a separate file over here. You can see my MP array is in my local folder with all my other programs. So when it's in there, you can just call it as if it was, any other library or anything. So we got that, and so we're calling it MP array, and then the class is MP capital array. So this is the code that uses the imported array. So the only thing different is we're importing our local array, MP lowercase array, and then we're creating a instance of that class, and we use the lowercase dot uppercase for the that's the library name dot class name. So that's how you get that. And then once you got your LM, you can call any other of your methods that are in there by just using your mylm.getlm again down here. So nothing changed down there. Only thing is, like I said, you're using external library, and now we're only got 32 lines of code instead of 50 some. So kind of cool how that works. And like I say, that MP array, if we had made another program where we wanted to use that class, all you had to do is import it and you're good to go. You don't have to copy and paste. Huh? That was something new I learned with this lesson. Always learning with Paul's lessons for sure. We can make sure it works the same as the other one. So basically, works just fine. Yeah. So that's my homework for this week, and thank Paul for all he does, and look forward to more lessons and seeing how he solved this one. Talk to you later.